Hey guys, Highcast here, and welcome to Florida. In this proposal, I have created an extension of BrightLine from Orlando International Airport to Tampa to celebrate the opening of BrightLine. Yes, I know that this proposal is a bit late, but then again it seems that all my proposals aren't complete on schedule, like most rail projects in the United States. Anyways, let's talk about this proposal. For those of you watching that don't know, BrightLine is the first privately owned and operated passenger rail service in the United States since 1983 when the Rio Grande Zephyr closed its service on April 24th of that year. Currently, Florida East Coast Industries has 4 planned phases for its newly operated passenger rail system. The first phase is nearly completed and is currently operating in between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale, with Miami Central currently under construction and scheduled to open this April. When Miami Central opens, Florida East Coast Industries can then begin construction on Phase 2. Phase 2 consists of connecting West Palm Beach with Orlando's airport via Florida East Coast Industries' current alignment on the Treasure Coast, and by constructing a brand new alignment from Cocoa to Orlando International Airport parallel to the Martin Anderson Beachline Expressway, otherwise known as Florida State Highway 528. This proposal is a part of what is referred to as Phase 3, connecting Orlando to Tampa. The last phase, known as Phase 4, will connect Jacksonville with the rest of BrightLine. I decided to make a proposal of the Phase 3 extension because Florida East Coast Railway doesn't have any tracks to run to Tampa. Why is this a problem when an alignment exists in between Orlando and Tampa? When you try to use another railroad company's track, what is known as trackage rights, you are able to ride on their track in exchange for letting them take control of where you are at what time. For example, Amtrak relies heavily on trackage rights. According to Amtrak, over 98% of all delays that happened on Amtrak were caused by freight railroads. This is because passenger and freight railroad schedules function independently from one another. This can cause freight companies to force passenger trains to wait to let one of their freight trains pass. CSX, BNSF, Union Pacific, and other freight railroads in the US all cause many delays that are associated with Amtrak delays. I don't want BrightLine to have to deal with trackage rights to run their service, especially if it's going to cause delays. I believe that BrightLine having its own alignment is crucial for BrightLine's success. BrightLine will be less subject to delays and would be able to provide more customer satisfaction for its riders. Now time for the details. The alignment is 88 miles or 142 kilometers in length. The top speed of the trains will be 125 miles per hour or 200 kilometers per hour. This proposal features 5 stops. These include Orlando International Airport, Disney World Epcot, Lakeland, Florida State Fair, and Tampa Union Station. The estimated journey time from Orlando International Airport to Tampa Union Station is 1 hour and 10 minutes. It'll be slightly faster than a 1 hour and 18-minute car trip with typical traffic, and much faster than a 2 hour and 3-minute trip via Amtrak Silver Star. Onboard accommodations will be the same as the rest of the BrightLine system. A Smart Service ticket will be $10 and a Select Service ticket will be $15. We're almost ready to look at the actual alignment. I just have to explain the color scheme that you will need in order to understand this project. First, we have the BrightLine alignment. Lime green is brand new 2-track alignment that would need to be constructed. Yellow is existing alignment in need of a second track. Blue is existing 2-track alignment that may need upgrades, otherwise no changes need to be made. Magenta indicates a newly constructed elevated alignment or bridge. White indicates either a tunnel or an uncovered trench where the track sinks into the ground. Next, we have the CSX alignment that BrightLine will not ride on. This color scheme is necessary because the project diverts CSX service onto new alignments in order to avoid the use of trackage rights. Anyways, orange indicates a new 1-track alignment that will be constructed. The purplish blue shaded alignment indicates a bridge or elevated alignment. Tunnels and trenches are white, just like in the BrightLine alignment. Red alignment indicates track that will be removed. This proposal includes warning symbols. Red exclamation point symbols indicate an at-grade railroad crossing. BrightLine is a distinct red, while CSX has a maroon sign to indicate a new railroad crossing. Because BrightLine has stations, they get their own color scheme. Same as my previous proposal, a red station icon indicates a non-existent stop, while a green station icon indicates an existing and currently operational stop. An orange polygon represents the above-ground station building and platform. That should be all, and any other color or symbol in this video will be explained as we go. Our journey begins at Orlando International Airport Intermodal Terminal. It was too hard to draw the entire terminal, so I only drew the part that was only relevant to BrightLine. The intermodal terminal connects travelers to 2 automated people mover systems, Sunrail and BrightLine. The complex also has a parking garage and 2 hotels. Heading south, BrightLine cuts through a forested region to make its way to the Central Florida Greenway, which BrightLine will use to head further west. BrightLine runs along the median of the Greenway and zips past the tolls. 8 miles later, and the train leaves the Greenway and runs parallel for a brief amount of time. Then it runs parallel to the World Center Drive, which becomes Epcot Drive at the I-4 State Highway 536 interchange, where BrightLine crosses over I-4 onto Disney property. Now, I had a plan to make sure that the new alignment that was built was completely grade separated, but I threw that out because of a problem at Epcot and in Tampa. Epcot has a monorail system that runs above the road and sidewalk, so you can't build over the road without disrupting the monorail. Even if I had the resources to build an expensive viaduct that was high enough to make it over the monorail service, it would not be worth it. The only traffic below the monorail and at this area is parking trams and pedestrians. There are no personal cars that drive here, so I figured that it would be easier to just have the trains cross at grade right here. The train has to slow down because of an S-bend and stop anyway. It won't start accelerating to a high speed until the entire train has cleared the S-bend. So trains will run slowly through this crossing. This makes the crossing safer since trains won't be running as fast. It will have automatic crossing gates for the pedestrians and parking trams. Sure, it's not the safest solution, but in this case, it's the most practical. Disney World's Epcot is one of the most important stops, if not the most important stop in the entire project because it is a part of Disney World. Disney World is Orlando's biggest tourist attraction and the most famous amusement park in the entire world. Connecting Orlando's International Airport to Disney World with a non-stop express train to Epcot would be an opportunity that BrightLine simply can't turn down. It would also print money for BrightLine and Florida East Coast Industries. That also means that it's more convenient for tourists arriving at Orlando International Airport. That's why I feel that it is important to connect BrightLine with one of the parks on Disney's property. I chose Epcot simply because of the monorail that connects it to Disney World's Magic Kingdom and its close proximity to the center of all of the attractions. I have the BrightLine station right next to the Epcot bus terminal to easily connect tourists to the rest of the Disney World, such as the rest of their parks, resorts, shops, and hotels. I could elaborate on how important a stop at Disney World is, but most of my viewers know the importance of Disney World, so we will just move on. When we leave Disney World, the alignment runs parallel to World Drive for 5 miles before joining Interstate Highway 4. I would run along the median of the road, but the road is very curvy and has the iconic Walt Disney World sign in the middle of it, which I do not want demolished. This allows BrightLine to build up speed and reach top speed of 125 miles per hour. Since there are no obstacles to get onto the median of Interstate 4 besides the interstate itself, the tracks are able to curve wide enough to optimize the full speed of BrightLine. Interstate 4 is a nice highway because it has a wide median that lets us through these development barriers that formed along the highway such as US 27 and the Ronald Reagan Parkway. Running in the middle of Interstate 4 allows us to pass through these barriers without destroying a single building and allows us to travel at BrightLine's top speed. BrightLine will be able to travel at its top speed until it reaches Lakeland. Some people will disagree with the decision that I made, but I think BrightLine should go through downtown Lakeland rather than continue on Interstate 4. I made this decision because I wanted BrightLine to connect the centers of cities like it does in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach. The BrightLine station is across the street and tracks from the downtown Lakeland bus terminal, the hub of Polk County's bus system. This makes it more convenient for residents traveling by bus. It also helps spur development in downtown Lakeland, making this area a more attractive place to put a business. I had trouble figuring out if I were to grade separate the alignment, but I ended up grade separating it. It would make this project more expensive, but it would be worth it. Traffic that would normally be interrupted by an incoming train would continue running normally while BrightLine is able to arrive at its station or speed past it with ease. It removes any risk of a pedestrian or car getting hit by a train and allows BrightLine to run faster speeds on its tracks. This will be helpful if BrightLine begins operating express trains to Tampa and don't want to stop along the way. I believe that if BrightLine begins to put more stations up in places like the Treasure Coast and continues to expand its service, there will be more demand for the occasional express train, which will be able to run in between Tampa and Orlando in just 45 minutes. This proposal does not include express services, but it's good to prepare an alignment for such a service since it would be significantly less expensive to implement an express train later once it is necessary. Now this is a part of the video where we start talking about CSX. Currently, CSX owns all of the track that runs through Lakeland. However, I want BrightLine to own the tracks through downtown Lakeland, and I believe that the right-of-way currently for CSX would be too small to fit both BrightLine and CSX tracks. So that means we have to divert CSX service somewhere else, while also making sure that CSX has access to all their clients. CSX is also looking to sell various alignments that it currently owns. If it sells the tracks running through downtown Lakeland, otherwise known as the Apex subdivision, I would happily take the entire alignment. Otherwise, I feel that CSX won't sell the Apex subdivision, and CSX will need another alignment to connect to all of its clients and the Port of Tampa. First, let's get the big problem out of the way, getting the CSX to the Port of Tampa. While CSX has tracks that go all the way north to Baldwin that allow for trains to access the entire CSX system, that's not very convenient for trains from eastern Florida that need to get to the Port of Tampa. So I created this alignment northeast of Bartow, Florida. This alignment runs along an existing power line and connects Winter Haven with a CSX-owned railroad that runs through Bartow. It adds 3 more railroad crossings and a bridge over Van Fleet Drive. Trains that currently travel on the Apex subdivision would use this route instead. No homes will be destroyed and no traffic will be interrupted on Van Fleet Drive, while CSX continues to operate trains to the Port of Tampa. A new alignment in Eloise will also connect northbound trains from the Auburndale subdivision to the new alignment to Bartow. This realignment will also allow Amtrak trains to continue operating trains to Tampa, allowing it to connect to cities like Brandon, Mulberry, and Bartow with an Amtrak service that would be ignored by BrightLine. However, I believe that Amtrak won't continue to operate service to Tampa when it has to compete with BrightLine. Amtrak ridership is also declining in Florida, according to the National Association of Rail Passengers. While I believe that Amtrak will continue to operate train service in Florida, I am doubtful that it will continue to operate passenger rail to Tampa. I would have the Silver Star discontinue its service to Tampa and instead phase in with the Silver Meteor to provide more trains for that service. The next problem is making sure that CSX is able to connect with all of its clients. While the Apex subdivision will be split in 2, various clients from power plants to manufacturing businesses might still want their rail service. So I kept the existing alignment that would be used by BrightLine, and I will allow CSX to operate on the tracks that BrightLine will not use. Trains will be much less frequent in between Auburndale and Fussell's Corner, but they must still come once in a while. I also rebuilt the tracks to an industrial park in Eaton Park so that CSX can operate trains to the industrial park while also removing a lot of grade crossings along Bartow Road, improving safety. I decided to continue along Interstate 4. Yes, I could use the existing CSX alignment, but we would have to do upgrades to the existing track anyways. It would also not affect the amount of traffic going through the existing railroad crossings from Lakeland to eastern Tampa. However, as I said earlier, if CSX will sell the Apex subdivision or A-line, then BrightLine will use that. Trains will once again speed by close to its top speed of 125 miles per hour. However, it'll have to slow down in some places because of curves along the median. As I stated in one of my previous videos, curves are hard to straighten when the railroad is running right in the middle of a median on a highway. So to avoid increased construction costs, I am leaving the curves as is. It may prohibit speed, but communities such as Plant City and Mango might prohibit high-speed trains through their city limits for safety reasons. So while a straighter alignment looks like a better choice on the surface, the alignment might be slower than a grade-separated one. Our next stop is wedged conveniently in between the Florida State Fair and the Seminole Hard Rock Casino. I couldn't deny having a stop here. The casino would provide year-round tourism, and the station would make it more convenient for those in Florida to head to the state fair. It would help boost ridership and attract more people to the fair. The station itself will be mostly underneath Interstate 4. You would be able to conveniently walk from the casino to the fair, as well as make your way to downtown Tampa, Lakeland, or Orlando by train, as well as being able to go to Miami and later Jacksonville. The hardest part of designing this project was undoubtedly BrightLine transitioning off of Interstate 4 and onto the current CSX alignment to Tampa Union Station. You can't cut through Ybor since the opposition would be so fierce, and you should avoid destroying people's homes. I have tried taking advantage of a highway connector that connects Interstate 4 with the Stillman Expressway. However, that was proven difficult because Exit 2 heading west has a ramp that goes underneath and on-ramp onto Interstate 4. The Exit 2 ramp also runs parallel to the CSX alignment at grade. To make matters even more complicated, there's a substation that's located in the corner of the eastbound Exit 2, which should be avoided because of their complex and not to be messed with nature. Relocating a substation would be an engineer's nightmare. However, in the end, I managed to get it to work. First, I had the railroad cross 34th Street at grade. Then I had the train travel underneath the median and under Interstate 4. I then built through the concrete ramps, crossed the CSX alignment at grade, took the property of the roofing supplier via eminent domain, and finally made it through to the existing alignment. There are obviously problems with this part of the project, but this is what the best I could come up with. Sacrifices will have to be made, but this is the only property that would be taken by BrightLine via eminent domain. Since a huge chunk of property will be gone, I would want to make up for the loss of the roofing supplier by putting homes into property that BrightLine will not use. Feel free to comment below how you think this part of the project should be engineered, because it was hard for me to come up with an alignment through here. Once we make it onto the existing tracks, we then later grade separate the alignment from E-board. Not only will it help out automobile traffic, but streetcar traffic as well. More trains means more interruptions of the current Tetco streetcar system that connects E-board to downtown Tampa. I want this streetcar system to be more efficient and not be interrupted by heavy rail service, in this case, BrightLine. After the train crosses 3rd and 4th Avenue above grade, the train finally reaches Tampa Union Station. I don't know what to do with Tampa Station. BrightLine is building its own sleek and modern train stations where it stops. While I do appreciate modern design and various amenities and stations, I also want to protect the history of railroads past. BrightLine could destroy Union Station and build its own modern and sleek station in its place. I believe that BrightLine bulldozing Union Station would be a terrible idea, because you're destroying relics of the past. You are upsetting historians and train enthusiasts that would want to keep historic buildings in place. This can lead to previously loyal supporters of BrightLine turning to the opposition against the project. The other option is that we leave Union Station the way it is. While I would not be against such a decision, I would prefer that BrightLine have a consistent style with all of its stations. I believe that architects that design BrightLine stations should also find a solution to integrate their modern looks and amenities into the station without tarnishing its historic look. There are also parking lots, vacant buildings, and empty plots by the station. BrightLine could acquire these lots and use them for extra needed space for building a parking ramp or more space that may be needed. Now, since CSX can't use these tracks, they can't make their way over to South Tampa, meaning a new dedicated alignment for CSX would have to be created. I have created a one-track alignment running along Adamo Drive and connecting with an existing alignment to a food product supplier called ConAgra Foods. Then the line is extended further and runs in the middle of the Selman Expressway. Some of these train bridges will be low clearance and will be marked so. Once the track matches the clearance of the expressway, the track crosses over the Hillsborough River. It then runs along the median for a short time before the new track runs along the tracks to South Tampa. The track then heads underneath the expressway and joins the existing alignment to South Tampa. This extension will remove the street runner that currently runs in the middle of East Polk Avenue. I love railroads, but I absolutely despise street runners. I don't think that heavy rail traffic should run in the middle of the road with other cars and pedestrians. While there are safety risks with street runners, the real reason why I hate them so much is mainly attributed to the fact that street runners give me anxiety. When I am near an active street runner, I get chills down my spine, especially when I am the one driving. To put my anxiety to rest, I have an obligation to get rid of the street runner. It keeps heavy rail traffic separated from the streets, as well as improving speeds and train lengths. When the train is gone, so are the horns in the area, meaning that buildings in Tampa are less likely to be disturbed by a train horn. This concludes my proposal for a phase-free alignment extension for BrightLine. What did all of you watching this video think of this proposal? What are improvements that could be made with this project? I do not live in Florida, let alone anywhere near this proposal's location. So this proposal is bound to have its flaws and problems. While this video is over, the proposal is not. I encourage anyone watching this video to head down to the comment section of this video and share your thoughts, questions, concerns, and suggestions for this proposal. In the real world, infrastructure projects are not designed by one person such as myself. They are designed by multiple individuals, organizations, businesses, and governments to create the best alignment to best serve its intended purpose. More people will be needed in the making of the right alignment, and to think that one proposal made by one person will be enough of a process to decide the plans for a project is foolish. Once again, please comment down below what you think of my proposal. You can also join the official transportation/infrastructure enthusiast Facebook community to see more proposals by other people similar to myself. There's also a Discord server called Transport Central, where you can not only post your proposals and meet others like you, but also debate transportation issues share your knowledge about transportation and infrastructure, and even help others make their proposals. Parts of this proposal were made with the help of others on the Discord server. If you're lucky enough, you may find me in a voice chat. Links are in the description. I would also like to state that since I was given shoutouts by multiple YouTubers, I feel that I should return the favor. As of this video's upload, there are 2 YouTubers that do videos similar to me, Webio Transportation and Voyager II. Go check out both of their channels if you haven't already. Watch their videos and consider subscribing. Links to their channels will be in the description. As for me, thank you for watching this entire video. I hope to see you all watching the next video. Until next time, this is Highcast Infrastructure signing off.